beautifully. As Mimi said, if you have that sort of coordination, they've got a lot of plant now. They could use shock darts, they could use fragments, they could use the nade.
If there was anyone to take out, I would suggest maybe the KO.
Yeah.
Swipe him out. Could even swap Zemfree if you wanted. I'll take no duelist over, but look, they must have ideas. They must have plans behind it. My fear is that Giants are going to be able to deny most plans, most retakes, and already most aggression. Suggests taken down immediately, and an attempted re-aggression out of Takajay has spotted 2 players waiting. They're not going to continue to aggress, and at this point, with no overreaction, with only 2 players spotted there, you know they're playing a default. So they've just been neutered in the early round. There is nothing that DFM can do other than essentially wait or try another risk.
This is what Giants did on the attack side of Haven as well. They were just patient. They knew that, especially with a comp like this, they had to make some sort of aggressive play. Hoodie is already going to decimate their Viper as well, and it is going horribly. 2 players stand, nobody on the A site. All of the utility that was set up there is now completely useless.
Oh, that Sage Wall looks kind of useful, actually. We might see more of that in this tournament. A little orb taken by Cloud. Oof. You lose the pistol as well coming into this. I mean, look, if you're DFM, you want to be picking up rounds here. Your attack's going to be pretty tough. You're going to be looking at an A site quite a bit, I'd imagine. Maybe they got some mid-split ideas. You never know. It could be something to catch them off guard. I'm excited for it, but also very, very cautious with giving any hope to it.
Yeah, they need someone to make a mistake, and that's not really some other than a whiff or 2. Giants haven't made many, if any, mistakes. Nice shot at least onto Hoodie, but again, they've got players to spare. Maybe not too many more. It's all left onto Zemfree though, and he's going to find another. Somehow this has become competitive, but the time is ticking away. He's managed to bait Rhyme into the fight, but he doesn't quite land the shots. There was a real chance there for them to take that in the 2v4, but unfortunately, it hasn't come to fruition.
It's going to haunt him tonight in his dreams. Hopefully as he looks forward to his next game and not back at this while checking in for his flight. I mean, this has been a rough start. A couple early aggression plays denied. The mid play was perfect for Giants. They get control, they get this site. And that little moment of hope. I thought they were back in, but no.
The thing is, they do have a lot of utility, either for plant denial or for retake. So that's why you're probably going to see aggression for them on one side of the map. Try and take a bit of a challenge. Orb already collected early on from Raider, so just trying to get that Hunter's Fury closer to online. Again, though, Giants, I think they've realized that, especially in terms of site anchorage, they don't have a massive amount, especially not in this round, because you're not going to see Anthem invest everything into this one. So ultimately, they can just be patient and almost try and feel out the stack or wait for someone to fight them.
They will be a little bit more keen to make those plays with the Sheriffs instead of what we saw before, you know, rocking in with some shorties and stuff like that, where you will just sit back. Damage. Oh my!
Okay.
Raider again and again surprises me in these fights. I keep counting him out, and he keeps delivering.
Yeah, this is one of the better spots, especially with rifles being purchased on that side. That's already going to be one hitting the deck, so this round in general has been a relative success already for DFM, but there's actually a chance to take this one away. A couple of players still ready and waiting. The dart is probably going to get them the information that they need. Never mind, it hasn't. It hasn't connected onto anyone. A freebie kill, a spam through the box, and Takajay's wondering where he's actually being shot from, hearing the plant going down, and now, well, things return to normality. 2 remaining. How much more damage can they do?
There's still some opportunities for sure with those Sheriffs.
You like this one? You like that Sheriff?
The Ion?
No, the other one.
Oh, was it a minima? I didn't see it.
It wasn't.
Yeah. See, I can guess that right away. Oh, it's nasty being tucked up on the wall, but they're checking it. Shot landed, but no kill. And, well, look, weaponry disadvantage, and you're up against Nukia. That's the end of that story. 2-0. Look, again, just a normal enough start to the game. Giants win pistol. They win the follow-up. They get a couple weapons through. All well and good. We need to see DFM right here. What's the plan? What's the idea?
Yeah. The thing that scares me a bit as well is in the last map, you had Nukia playing a very supportive role. He was setting up stuns, and he still did pretty well on the fragging front. Now on Sage, he can actually do quite a bit more individually. And I think that's already terrifying, because if you haven't watched EMEA, you haven't seen him over the last few years, he was one of the best players we had in the entire region. The team didn't do as well as they should have done, but he is always fantastic. So being a little bit more free, that's not a good sign.
So it said there a second ago, we saw Zemfree and Takajay, first Japanese players to play on 2 different teams, but I think Rada might also have that accolade, that same accolade, because he played with Takage on both Absolute Jupiter and Zeta. And I think both of those were the LAN events, right? Remember, they played up against Crazy Raccoons. They beat them, and then they lost 0-3 to them right after and got eliminated, which, you know, not great. But as we say, it's always harder to beat that team the second time, Tom.
In the same tournament.
I'm just saying, Footballist and 100 Thieves, we already know what's going down. 2-0.
I agree.
There we go. That's all that needs to be said. We're on our way in towards the B side. And, you know, we theorized maybe DFM won't be pushing this side a lot. Giants have got the opportunity to with that Sage wall, got their Viper wall as well, get them a little bit closer. But they're going to be spotted by the turret. And it's a very passive play out of DFM. And I imagine they've got a lot of utility. I see a Nano Swarm there, but I imagine they have a little bit more in mind to deny them when they move to the side.
Fatinho already trying to take a bit of space. He's going to clear yellow. Again, there's so much utility available to just try and delay and deny. Stop them being able to utilize that Sage Wall to full effect. Although it hasn't been broken just yet. They've only got 18 seconds to try and get this plant down. They're wary of Snowman Peak, but there's actually nobody there. They haven't got an angle to stop this. So with all that util, with everything put in to try and delay, the plant goes down anyway.
But there's a chance that Giants are panicking there and they try to push spawn and get extra control, but they don't. They played it calm, cool, collected, held the angle, and now, same thing from Fatino. He dashed into a slow warp earlier on to try and catch them off guard, this time holding yellow late, but they're watching it, they're checking it, and Hoodie needs to go huge with the Sheriff. He's got two! Even more damage! This is unreal! Nukia then comes up from behind and rips this round out of their hands! DFM denied any access to this half.
The funny thing there as well is the whole goal from Hoodie is, okay, let's buy time for the flank. I'm buying time for the flank. I've killed everyone. I've killed everyone. They're all dead.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I didn't need to buy time. Like, Nuke's like, guys, I made, oh, cool. Okay, party's over. We'll move on to the next round.
Wiki Wild, I believe that's what Jaden said. Unreal. 3 kills coming in the end, and he started it out just a Sheriff in hand, being double peaked as well. You can't make it up.
I'll always remember, even on like all the old Finnish teams he played on, he was always nasty with the weak weapons. His Marshal's filth. I don't know if we'll see it anytime soon with him playing a Killjoy, but it is nasty.
Hell, if you're hitting Sheriff shots like that, save the extra 100 credits. Why not? 1:30 on the clock, and the Sheriffs come out for DFM. Again, these are the rounds where you expect a bit more aggression, try to catch some players off guard, but a very passive default from Giants. They're watching every avenue. They've waiting.
Got an alarm bot as well.
Exactly. And they're just waiting for DFM to make that mistake, step forward so they can rip their heads off and take the map control back.
They're hearing the footsteps. Oh, he knows. He knows. He read it perfectly.
Timing.
Just spots the player. Zimfree waiting above as well, just trying to get something and get out. He's pulled a rotation from Suggest to try and bolster up this position at least a little bit.
He's made the call. He's seen them. 4 players outside. Knife confirms it. Stack up, now strong. The nade slowed them. It allowed the rotation to come into play. Viper wall, I think, is... No, it's up, actually. I thought it was refreshing. So this was a little bit more of a panic then from the DFM side. They didn't expect them to slow down quite that much. With the wall down, they waited patiently. They paid their time. Takage at least gives them some hope. But now that hope remains on Anthem's shoulders, and with a res in from Nukia, it's a 1v3.
Oh, that was there from the beginning of the round. That's so cursed. A piece of utility that never quite got destroyed gives the info over. He might have had a free kill, but instead he's up against a firing squad. Again, a little bit of damage done, but when you look at the economy currently being built up by Giants, they're not going to care one bit.
Hey, that first game we talked about being on LAN, the crowd, and I gotta say, man, it's first day, the crowd looking decent, but they are much, much louder for the numbers than I expect. I mean, it is unreal. And it's only gonna get better as we go on. But right here, that presents a problem for DFM. They're dealing with that. The crowd against them after they won. Giants had a roar from them, a big celebration. They were down there owning it in the interview and, in the stadium. And this puts DFM now in a position where you have all that mounting against you, and every round that slips out of your grasp is one closer to the airport.
Zimfree aggressive. He hasn't managed to capitalize, but he at least gets out of there. Has Suggest to support. The thing is, these set plays, these early pushes, so far, have found absolutely nothing. We're going into round number 5, and that's really the basis of this composition. Okay, you do have a Viper Killjoy to slow, but you normally have that Sage in there. You can wall off sections, you can hold for retakes. A lot of the time, they can't really do that, or at least with their attempts, they failed. So instead, now, you're just playing passively with a composition that doesn't benefit that too much.
Yeah, but again, we're still seeing the early attempts at the aggression, but yeah, reset into it time and time again. Now, we had an interesting play before. Giants put a slow orb yellow and then dashed into it. I think taking the eye of the player off that corner, you're not expecting them to come rushing it. If they've slow orbed it, they're probably going straight to sight or into your spawn. Something a little bit wild and wacky. Instead, they just dash in and then try to catch them off guard. I don't know that we'll see it again, but it wasn't spotted. There's the slow orb going out. They wait a second, they let it bloom, let the player look elsewhere, and here's the dash. They tried to get on top yellow, did make it. Patino doesn't get the kill though. The punish is huge.
Yeah, and this time the Jules, they're going the way of DFM. They've managed to set up nicely with a multitude of players on this side of the map. The opener was there, the setup was really nice, like the tag coming through, giving that extra little bit of information, but here for Hoodie, not really value other than taking weapons away. Financially, it's not going to change anything, but he's already got his ult. He's not fighting for those orbs, doesn't want to give them over onto the other side, and, well, basically he doesn't want to just swing out towards yellow in a 1 versus 4.
What a round for DFM. And again, we see some of those ideas. Going up top yellow, trying to punish the player below, but the blast packs, funnily enough for Zemfree, is able to move around, a little bit more fluidity to it. Player on site able to provide that support as well. And yeah, you're up there, you're in the open. It's not the easiest place to play from, but Suggest still did a good job to close that out and still deliver a little bit more in the late round. There's the viewing party over in Tokyo. The clap's going out for the first round on ICEBOX. Many more needed here for DFM if we're going to see this Pacific side make it all the way.
Yeah, they've got a long road back, but it's not an impossible one. I think as well, like, they're only going to have troubles when it comes to that attacking side. Without having that sort of set play, they're going to need much deeper control. And this time, they're going for that alongside a Viper's Pit. Vandal within it definitely has its risks. I know Mitch won't be happy about that.
It's not always the best of calls, but it has its advantages to it if you are going to be stuck watching those ranged angles, and sometimes it is just the weapon that you've got with you. It's not worth throwing away.
The thing is, this works with the setups they're going for. They've been gamble stacking most rounds, having 3 players on one side, mid controlled by Anthem, and then just a solo player. That's happened in most, and then they pull rotations. This time, though, with the Viper's Pit, it forces a push in the other direction. Anthem as well, that's not only a kill, but it's also the spike dropped. So extra information garnered. The turret is going to let them know that they've crossed as well, but they are likely to get in and get that plant.
The patience of Rhyme right now. He's waited here this whole time, and now sitting on just the opposite side of the box. It's a matter of timing when he decides to go in and where, both pushing different lanes now. He's trying to find him and root him out. The spray's coming in, they've distracted him, they're starting to get towards the site on the attacking side, so of course Takage wants to try and help his teammates. Rhyme, though, needs to find that space. Takeje's just walking around, deleting his teammates, and about 1 HP, stuck inside, and indeed, everything started to add up in the end. They knew exactly where that Rhyme play was coming from. And a second is going to be found, okay. Slowly but surely.
That's the thing, similarly to the last map, it seemed when they had some ults online, a lot of their sort of ideas work more effectively. Like the 3-man stack, the Viper's Pit to delay, they had a wonderful sort of contact setup in mid. I think forcing them into Anthem is going to be a great sort of setup, because not only does he get the opener, but then the second they cross over, all the information, and he forces them into awkward spots with his utility. So a really nice round for DFM. Is it one that's recreatable? Not really until they get that Viper's Pit back.
Yeah, and a big pick taking your Sage out early. In a lot of rounds, you're losing the wall. I think this was the one aspect that Giants had going for them in the way they pushed and the round that was in it. The wall wasn't going to be as useful as it would be in a normal round. But that said, they lost it anyways. Patino, he's caught one player here. If he expects another player to be here,
He's just waiting. That's the thing, though.
A golf clap for that. Well done.
It's the same. It's the 3-man pushes. They saw it in the pistol round. They saw it a couple of rounds ago as well. So they are now just expecting these aggressive plays. Raider, he did this before. He tried to fight around the lockdown. And again, it seems like Giants are just learning as they go, picking up the tendencies of opponent they won't have seen much of. But they are adapting. And this round, well, it's back to almost the norm we saw before, attempting an aggressive play, that aggressive play not working, and Giants having the round on lock.
Man, this is a solid round for that attack. Ultis still just sat on the utility belt, farming up the whole time. Rhyme 2 away now from the pit as well. With DFM, Going down 5-2, this attack side is picking up a number of rounds already. I would say if DFM managed to close this half out with every round from here on out, 7-5, it's still going to be a pretty tough game for them when they swap over. And again, we have to keep highlighting, they're not playing a Sage. So this attack side, I mean, again, they must have ideas. But right away, all I can say is it's going to be tougher than it usually is.
Yeah, you're going to have to not only clear a lot of angles, especially towards that B site that will allow spams. That's going to be a big problem because normally the wall at least gives you a few seconds to try and plant. But that's the thing, they brought this comp in, they've gone for something a bit riskier. We've talked about teams basically keeping within the norm this event because of the fact that firstly, they want to work on fundamentals, but secondly, you don't get a second chance. They feel like they needed to do something a little bit more aggressive here. I'm all for it. I want to see it because they did something normal last map and they got banged out anyway.
Yeah, well, look, I guess that's it's one way to look at it. I'll say that. Another way, a way to look at this round, I suppose, is that you're probably going to see it going to Giants. Super passive play. DFM don't get aggressive. They don't take the map control. They're super passive on B as well. I mean, 3 players on that side of the map. Still utility covering mid at least. But a lot of this relies on them finding that opening pick. Something we've highlighted again and again has not been a strength of theirs in this series. And Giants' patience has worked out time and time again. You can see them slowly taking the map control. They've been spotted, moving up in towards Kitchen. That's actually working out well for DFM with a lot of presence on this side of the map.
It's a good shot as well from Raider. There is that advantage taken. The rest of the team now looking to try and pressure in, but they're not going to have any of that Viper utility anymore. Definitely going to make things that little bit more difficult. In fact, it looks like Vitinho wants to try and almost take this into his own hands. He's going to go straight towards Snowman. Raider traded on, eliminated, obliterated, and now the spike looking to go down.
And there it is, planted in a 4 versus 4. A Blade Storm, a Rez, and a Hunter's Fury crucially online for this attacking side, with DFM attempting to use a lockdown. You know that's going to be called in right away. Hunter's Fury fired out. And not catching it. Not catching players, not doing a whole lot, and as they try to leave, they're all being picked off.
Oh, there's a Rez available, but they need to get in a spot to even deny this in the first place. Nuke, he has managed to get a couple, but he expects someone on it, and they will stick it all the way through. A nice attempt to get back in on the site. But that lockdown, again, as said, when DFM have ults, their plans seem to work wonderfully. And the thing I really like about that, there is one tiny gap that is left by that lockdown. So just swings and is spraying it the second he comes around the corner. That was the only danger.
That's the thing, you know, if Zemfree still has his nade, you're popping it in. I mean, there's a ton of utility here that you can play on the back of that Anthem, even having 3 nano swarms in some rounds for that position, you'd imagine. So, altogether, well handled. It came close. 1 bullet through the smoke would have taken down Takage on the defuse, but the reality is, Giants had a lot of utility to fire back at, or back with as well. Yeah. Like, this is a round where DFM used ults, but it's not even as simple as that because there were counter ults to come through, because there was so much utility and the time on their side with that in mind. So, altogether, that's a stellar round to bounce you back in. They're going to also call a timeout. Make sure they take full advantage of this opportunity. Remember, their credits aren't terribly healthy on the Pacific side, so it makes sense that Detonation FocusMe are thinking, okay, let's just take stock of where we are and make sure we capitalize. We need every round.
Well, that's the thing as well. This is a sort of round that you really can't allow your opponents to get into an afterplant. You got a Viper's Pit and a Rez. So even if they lose someone in on the entry, you're going to be able to get that player back and sit within an ultimate that gives you huge benefits. So with nothing on the other side that can really do anything about that, unfortunately, I'm expecting it to be another round where they have to get aggressive. And that's been the sort of brink. Like, the retake they had in the prior round was fantastic. We saw them also utilize the lockdown. That worked out for them. A Viper's Pit, where they were able to gamble on that, that worked for them as well. But when they've tried to sort of retake without those aspects or without certain control, they failed miserably and been slaughtered. So I want to see what the plan is in this round, and if they can finally get one of these sort of aggressive set plays to work.
It's almost like we've been hurt before, you know? It's a close start to the game. We saw it last time, and Giants ran away with it. Half 2, there's a serious possibility for that to happen as well. DFM got to have their heads screwed on the entire time, and this has caught them off guard over on Haven, the straight blitzes. This time, they're playing retake, and they have a ton of utility. Problem is, you mentioned, you don't want to play retake against these ultis.
No, I think they wanted to fight this more, but unfortunately with Zimfree being tagged instantly, it becomes difficult. He's actually gone within the pit. He's going to try and catch someone. He was hoping maybe that Rhyme shows his face a little bit too early. There's 1 or 2 corners to be checked. They know roughly where the gaps are going to be. He's making a play through. The spam is good, but it's an instant trade. The pit goes down at least and turns it into a 3v2, but still the advantage since with Giants.
Yeah, with no spike planted, though, they've got to at least expose themselves to get that done. A chance for DFM to close the gap, move towards the site, find the angle. Concealed behind the wall here. This could be everything for Hoodie. The timing as it drops, and he'll catch the kill. A little bit more needed. It's only Takage in a 1 versus 2. He doesn't know where both players are. Well, now he does. Found out the hard way with 6 on the board for Giants. They're guaranteed to be at least neck and neck coming out of their attack side on ICEBOX. Their map pick. A ton of advantages stacking up for them now. And no doubt, Detonation Focus Me in the back of their minds. They know every single round they lose is a step towards elimination, and they're only a few steps away.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. They're not even going to come in with much for this round. They had the ability to buy on a couple of players, but they just don't have the finances on the rest to risk it. And again, normally you might have an ult or 2 that will sort of pad the gaps, but they don't. There's nothing online, so it leaves them in a bit of an awkward spot. Rez as well versus an eco, it's a great tool to have, and I'll be real, I'm not surprised that didn't work again. It's the same firing squad as we had in the pistol round, and the same patience from Giants that I've been thoroughly enjoying so far.
It really is refreshing to see, especially with the players that are on this roster. You would have every right to say, hey, let's just play crazy, let's just style on them, we're better. And I wouldn't be able to argue.
You would get a slap around the back of the head from Pimpson if you did that.
Absolutely would. You would.
No.
But you'd have to call the timeout first.
No.
The thing is, you know...
Oh, no, he's running up those stairs. He's not,
you know how far the coaches are quite far away. I don't know. That's quite a sprint in this weather.
I don't think... If you annoy Pipson, I reckon he can get there in 0.5 of a second. He just appears.
Yeah, that does seem like a trait he possesses. Omnipresent. Well,
also Milan can reach you from 45 miles away.
That is true. Patience sometimes is key. This time, I'd suggest you shoot a little bit earlier.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. That could have gone better.
It could have. Yeah, I can see a few ways.
Yeah. Well, not expecting much in this round with the weaponry in play. Taking a moment to get that spike down, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Raider has been good with the Sheriff, and hey, I think that was actually a collapse through someone's shoulder to get that kill, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scale of things. Again, the economy starting to build for Giants. 7 rounds on the board as they look to run away with this once again. And we're going to get the operator back onto Zimfree. The issue is, though, and it really is as simple as this, every time he's tried to play an aggressive setup on A, they've just droned him or, like, darted him out of there, and then he's had no impact. So I kind of want to see him go somewhere else. He's not.
Nope. Yep. I saw him towards spawn. I thought maybe we're going to... Nope. Right back to the A site. But if at first don't succeed, just try again. This time with a few more teammates to back up, but look at how much damage has been done. There's like a sliver of health left on Suggest. Raid has gone running to drone from the spawn, and they're closing in on Suggest the entire time. The man's isolated, didn't stand a chance in that fight. Good attempt by Anthem, but he's shut down immediately. And any inch that they're able to find on the DFM side is immediately returned by a trade. That's a good nade, though.
Yeah, it's going to move the position for the spike planted elsewhere. The swing from Takage, there was no one else really taking a fight, and Zimfree, the first man in, looking like he'll be the last one out. At least the operators finally managed to get a kill, but they've got the res, finally able to use it. Carv's going to connect the shot. It's the same problem. Just the utility from Giants forcing them back at the beginning of the round is just too good. They're not allowing them to swing off the back of the slows being placed in as well. It just looks very easy for them to go, oh, you're aggressive. Goodbye.
You know, I gotta give huge props to Pipson and Milan, because in all honesty, I look at this roster, this is the last kind of play style that I'm expecting to see out of them. Like, they're so... Rather, I don't think it's wrong to assume that they would come in and try to play like this. I just assume that a minute 10 into the round, someone's getting itchy and peeking. It's what happens with a lot of teams in the MEA historically. But they are so patient. They're so diligent. A 1 versus 5, he gets a kill and they go, let's res. That's Reza, or 1v4 it was, he gets a kill, res it up. They're just playing safe, and how demotivating. Can you imagine? It's a 1v4. You get the kill, you're like, okay, maybe there's a shot. Res, and it's done. And now come into this final round. Again, advantages, sitting. Actually, maybe down the middle. Zemfree's got his showstopper. There could be something to be found by that, especially with the way those A plays have been coming in. But you'll notice the A play isn't coming in this time, because they're aware of that.
Oh, they're taking their time. Yeah, they've had a very good read on the ults in most rounds. They've been prepared for them with whatever counter that they've needed. The other thing as well is with a lockdown, he would almost have to fall back and play out. And again, this drone, it's not going to get anything this time. But they know there's someone aggressive. In fact, the Hunter's Fury is going to try and force them out completely. But it gets nothing this time.
Last round, right? Sometimes you just throw those in, and he knew there was a player close. I can see the idea. I can see the plan. Great kill. Rhyme down, wall out of play. That was on B, though. The intention is the A site, but they know that on DFM. 4 players here. Flash. Oh, it's a beautiful flash. He might be able to get so much damage, but the lockdown's still up. They need to push forward. They've got to deny it. 1 second, and there it is. That means we have just seen the Viper's pit go down for no reason. Takage completely canceled out of the round. They still need to get that spike planted, and but he's on runabouts. Oh, pick up the spike!
No, it's not going well for Patino. He's going to be able to get it. It's done. It's done. That just got so messy towards the end. Sure, they were forced out of position, but there was no way he could capitalize. I think maybe hoping the player detained was still within the sight.
That was exactly it.
It wasn't the case. Still, an 8-4 half for Giants, a very good position to find themselves in. And while we're going to send this one back off to the desk to try and, again, at this scoreline, tell us if there's any hope.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You know, I would have been actually a little hopeful if it was 9-3. I don't know why I would have felt a little bit better going into that, weirdly enough.
Screwed them completely.
Just ruined it completely. But don't trust me for predictions, because I was off with the Super Bowl yesterday anyway. But Seth, I mean, look.
I was on point.
Yeah.
You're just a hater.
It really feels like DFM, they are left out in the middle of the ocean without a paddle, without options, and without a boat. Man's just flapping around. This is tough out there for them, and credit to Giants for shutting them down.
It really is. But again, I think the biggest issue that we're seeing right now is that all of the just standard protocols from TFM just aren't in place right now. It seems like every single time they go into a round, they don't really have a solid game plan. They don't really know what they want to do. And then when they do figure out what they want to do, this guy screws it all up for him. Nuke has been playing absolutely phenomenally on this stage. He's going full battle stage mode on the attack.
It's going to be a fun
Obviously,
game.
the wall's
That it is.
always
And
pretty good when you're just trying to get a safe plant down, but even when you get ready to go over to the defensive side, he's going to be able to wreak havoc by just cutting off access points. So it's been a really wonderful performance from him thus far, and I'm looking forward to seeing Nuke just continue to just rock out here.
Yeah, again, DFM is, I think, trying to lean into playing some of these retakes, but the thing is, Giants has been really well set up every time they've gotten this post plan, and Nuke, he's been the guy who has been doing a lot of that, but the Battle Sage, that is not an option for the side of DFM, because they have made some wacky choices with the composition, and they do not have that agent as we look towards the second half. Instead, they've replaced it here with Zenfree on the Raze. He's done fine, had a couple of his moments, but right now my question is it worth it? Because for me, every time I watch a Sageless team, the few times I have seen it work, the teams have to be so incredibly coordinated, so well put together to make up for the lack of that wall, because the wall really is what unlocks the B site on this map. They don't have that, and that has just kind of sucked so much faith out of the room for me around DFM.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about them maybe throwing a curveball to try to catch Giants off guard. Raze, fairly uncommon on this map. I kind of would have preferred, if you're going to go this route, not go for the Sage, maybe something like Arena where you can play a little bit more aggressively and you have that dismiss to get out. Either way, what's done is done. We have to see if they can run it back.
Yeah, you know, they made their bed and they're going to have to sleep in it, but let's see, though. Stranger things have certainly happened. Let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom.
Have they? Maybe if they could recruit the Demogorgon, they'd have a chance of taking them down. At this point, without a Sage, well, maybe just a Sage. That's all they kind of need.
87%.
Post-plant win rate across this series so far. Well, they've had a pretty strong win rate just in general.
I think it's gone down though. I think they were 9-9. So
yeah,
they've got worse, but still quite comfortably winning it. I will say, Not expecting that stat to change now. It would be quite impressive. Maybe
look,
if we get to a third map.
How beautiful would it be for Detonation FocusMe to come in here and just prove us so wrong? Everybody's
okay
doubting
with
it. Without the Sage, it's a crazy play. You're 8-4 down as well. You're a map down. It's your opponent's map pick. Giants are absolutely fragging right now as well, and solid on the defensive side. But if you ignore all of that, I think it's a pretty much neck and neck.
Right. Yeah, I'm not... I guess if you do ignore everything, then yeah.
There you go.
It works out, but Rhyme is almost just waiting to try and deny their plan. Like, he is playing above, flash coming through. They've got so much utility ready and waiting, and when the full force of their team can come back around, as we've mentioned, there's no walls, so they either have to plant more aggressively, and that's exactly what they're doing. They've blinded themselves, but somehow well, I was going to say the trade went okay, not for long. They've just been blasted. The pistol round again goes to Giants, and well, 9-4, that didn't look great.
No, I wouldn't say that. It was unfortunate for Suggest. I mean, it's a very finite timing between catching the perfect window on going through that wall with the flash and
It's like genius and madness, you know?
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, that flash blinded the player and his teammate behind him killed him. So it did work out. It did what it was supposed to do in a way. Wake up! There's Valorant happening! 9-4, and you know, at this point, I think we all know what's going down for DFM. So do they. They're on Sheriff's taking an eco. I do respect teams sitting back in this position. It is hard to deny that, to just say, oh, we're going to just accept 10 rounds to our opponents, but it is sometimes the right call. They have a sliver of hope in this round of getting damage in, but again, when you take a look at what they have in the shield department, Giants should be able to shred them in most fights. Fatino's running around with essentially a semi-auto op. It's just not looking great for them to get damage. But if they can drop some weapons, you know, build up the foundations, I think that's even a tough sell in their voice comms right now. You just got to take it one round at a time.
Well, again, utility set up ready to try and deny them getting this plant down. We know as well that they want to try and play more aggressively into this, but ultimately, again, it's the same result. They give time for those rotations to come through. Now you can even see the distance being played by the side of Giants. They don't need to get up close with the frenzy anymore. Oh, this could do a lot of damage. Shock dart going through 2 players low. It doesn't actually kill off. It hits Anthem, unfortunately. The one player he didn't want to hit, so maybe Cloud will get an assist after all. It might not even matter. Finally, a kill comes through for Suggest, but that is it. One and done. 10 rounds on the board for Giants, and well, they're running away with this again.
Yeah, and in the last map, it was very much a story of Cloud just dominating. Right now, he's just playing a normal Sova role. In fact, I'd say pretty much everybody just doing their job. Nukia, 16-6. They've got reses non-stop.
This is the difference. It's exactly what I said at the beginning of the game. It's like, you put him on a breach, he'll put up numbers, but his assists and what he was doing to support, now you've put him on a Sage. It's like his role was put wall down, kill people.
Yes.
And
he does that.
That's what he did.
Pretty good at that, yeah.
He did exactly what it said on the tin. So, yeah, that's a scary prospect. I also think if we see his Rays come back at any point, I want to be casting that game.
Everyone's in trouble. Everyone's in trouble if that happens. Well, this round for Giants has a couple weaknesses, you know. Obviously, the Sheriff on Rhyme. Now, he's jump spotting on B, playing the info, and then late on, he'll be attempting to deny with utility. A snake bite on top of that nano, perhaps. Then I glanced down after I said that to check if he had a snake bite. I had a little heart attack, but he does. He's got 2. And it's good in this position. You're going to want to keep your economy high. Obviously, it's a bonus round. And he's the one that decides to take the weaker weapon, being the support.
They did win the last one. Bear that in mind, Hoodie with this triple kill. Nuke again, it's almost free. The repeat from Rater just doesn't get anything. He's going to go in for more and wins that battle as well.
Free upgrade for him, maybe for a teammate as well. Rhyme might consider getting out of there, grabbing a weapon, but he's holding the control for now. The orb and just spotting them on the cross course. They need the information. There's the nano to deny. Hoodie's going to be dropped. Nade forces Rhyme out, but he gets a kill. A fantastic shot onto Zenfree. A head shot returned by Takashe. And this might be an opportunity. The wall going up. Anthem with the plant down below. He's safe. The peek from Fatino. They spotted the rifle be picked up, but they're not able to land the shot, giving him a chance to set back up into this and giving Cloud a teammate to play off. This could be dangerous. Now he's alone.
Oh, yeah, the initial spray, not great, but he is going to reposition, turn it back into that 1 versus 1. Takage just falling all the way back, trying to play this a little bit more passively, but he is going to have to try and swing out onto this one. Wary that he could be defusing, but he plays the timing well. It is a round. It is at least something for them to play off of on DFM, unlike in the last map. The problem is, one player surviving with a full investment versus a bonus, still not painting a pretty picture.
Yeah, no, it certainly isn't, you know, but Takage at least able to put up that big play. We've seen massive rounds from Rada. You know, these guys, quite a lot of experience, as we said, 2 international events under their belt. I think Suggest is the other guy on the team who's matching those numbers. The only other guy on the server with that is Nukia, I believe. No one on Giants has been to 2 international events, bar him. He was with Heretics and with G2. Oh, he was with G2 twice, but one of them was a regional Masters. That's what it was. So 3 times at Masters.
Coutinho. they've heard the orb shot, they're gone. It's like showed themselves initially and just instantly peace out of there. And instead, Giants are actually going to put the pressure in onto mid. Now the thing is, they've got that alarm bot close. It's something that is expected, flashing through so many players ready and waiting, and Hoodie might just have every player lined up. One's still there, caught in the corner, but he's expecting it. He heard the flash, he knows he's there. And already, 3 players in the dirt. It's again just another blip on the radar, and the rest of the players are like, well, we've got a little bit of space on A.
Good luck planting that spike, though. I don't think I've ever even seen it in that position before.
No, I don't think I have either, for a very good reason.
I don't know, maybe when Jonas was playing on stream or something, but other than that.
He probably has a lineup from there.
You know he does as well. Any position on the map as well. This was the map that we learned of those double shock darts the hard way. My God. But 10-5, a dominant score line, looking like 11 for Giants without a miracle or maybe a spin bot would be their best chance.
You know.
At this point, DFM, it's got to be weighing on them. It's got to be building up, and they get some ideas, but they were baited into that play. You've got a Sova on the ramp who's spotting you, making that little bit of noise. The alarm bot as they push through, and obviously the flash would push Sova back. At that point, you're almost 100% certain no one's going to be where Hoodie was. He was so aggressive out in mid already. He's not holding anything really, not anything that Sova can see on his own. And you'd imagine he's going to be playing a little further out, right? Towards the A site, keeping that alarm bot up from there. Instead, he's on that off angle. He's able to completely catch them off guard. And we saw it on the way in from, I believe, Suggest's perspective. And even as he was rounding the corner to look into spawn, he was still looking at the top of the ramp. Because again, Sova doesn't need help there, and he usually doesn't have it.
That's the thing. It's also just because they had Vitinho locking down B. Like, you can play those gambles. You can have a couple of players on A, you can have a couple of players on mid. So I almost feel like part of that was that DFM needed to do more to force him back, force him off positions before going for that sort of play. But again, even still, you're not expecting Hoodie to just mow you down that simply. Now, financially, again, just in the bin, they've got those 2 rifles saved. They've got some Sheriffs alongside it. And Rater is 1 away from having a Hunter's Fury. Res online for Nukia, but I feel like we've said that a lot and it hasn't actually mattered.
So late on into the half, and you know, I don't want to say we haven't seen an evolution of this attack so far, but we haven't seen a successful one anyways. Definitely being pushed out of the pool. Okay, snake bite down,
That's
but
a nice
good
shot.
shot from Zemfree. Yeah, he's out wide around the back with the Marshall. They need to keep their space, but I mean, they're not going to be planting right now.
No, they're going to go back.
Yeah, exactly. They're full selling this fake.
Yeah, they've done well. They took the deeper control that they had done before, and they'd always taken their time and battled. So instead, he's just selling this as a fake, just trying to get them to stick around, and that's exactly what he's done. They're so desperate to try and deny this plant from coming through on the B side that they haven't realized that the A site is going to go completely under the control of their opponents.
And you know what? If this is any other team, you're probably looking at this going, guys, how are you not reading the rotation? They don't have a Sage. So I actually think there's a world where DFM, if they fully intended to push B, would have waited back like that and said, okay, we need to find a pick first. We need to do something else, a mid-push.
Also, they've been very direct so far.
They have.
Anthem, oh, it's just going to get swung. Can't just go sprinting around the corner. This flank from Zemfree, I don't think it's going to be expected, but they need to get a move on, really. He needs to get in behind because his teammates don't actually have a lot to play with. They're left with just weaker weaponry. To half, it's likely to go, at least. And Vitinho is just going to continue to stick it. He eventually goes down. The problem is that time is now ticking away. They need to get back on the spike, and because of that hesitation on the other side, no, they're just going to stick it! Oh, no.
Of all the ways that this could have went, Tom, of all the ways,
that was the worst.
The plant position too close to the edge. He's able to defuse below. Nobody can see him from the angles. They had everything else covered. Every other pixel was spotted, was accounted for. And he found the one gap in their play. And this timeout, I would not want to be there for this timeout.
He only had 45 HP as well, and he dies a second later. Oh, that's not going to feel good. That's not going to feel good. The thing is, from Zimfree's perspective, he's won that round. He's already won it.
Of course he has.
Because the fact that his teammate manages to get the kill on the initial diffuser, it just made it easy. He could just sit there, sit back, and just wait. And instead, Cloud did the one thing that could win them that round with the amount of time that was left on the clock. If it wasn't heartbreaking enough watching this happen to DFM, they now need a pretty big streak of rounds. We're in the same spot as last game.
It was heartbreaking to see them as absolute Jupiter all the way back. You know, Takage, Rada, they come in and they beat Crazy Raccoon 2-0. They got a win under their belt. They lose the next game, end up facing Crazy Raccoon again, and then lose that 3-0. They got dominated. This time, it looks like we might be sending them home without a win under their belt. Without really a half one. I mean, this has been incredibly punishing. And Giants, yes, I thought they were a better team on paper individually. However, they are playing some incredibly clean Valorant as well, and you cannot take that away from them.
He hits that. That's a tag onto Takage just through the corner of the wall. They're looking for an all-in A take once again, although Zimfree might have other ideas. Starting to check in onto that flank. I think we just heard the Sage will go down as well, so the timing of this push might not be the greatest in the world. They're going to throw in that showstopper, but he's going to get stuck in the mud. And just look at the defense. They've just gone. He's now got a wall to run into. He's got to try and go all the way around. It's achieved the site being under their control, but no damage done.
It's not the worst, you know, not being fully denied, given a chance. Giants are playing a retake. What could go wrong? Maybe Hoodie could come in with his ultimate, deny that space completely, and you can see they're waiting.
As well.
There we go. It's come into play.
Oh, he's just been spammed out of there on the plant. Same position as last time, just trying to fight across the board. Viper's Pit available for Rhyme as well. He could basically just shut this down, make it incredibly awkward as the fight comes through, though. One kill for Anthem, that gives
Hunter's
something. Lockdown in play as well. Hunter's Fury on the other side. They're making this one work. The spray down from Anthem. He's just doing it all on his own. Finally, someone steps up for DFM and leaves Rhyme with his Viper's Pit still standing, trying to get anything he can, and Anthem is going to be there to close it. 5 kills for him in the round, a 6th on the board for DFM, but they had to throw everything at them, Mitch.
And he stands on top of that same box to get that final kill of the ace. They might have lost from that position, but now they've at least taken it back. Problem is they're 6 rounds behind, a long road ahead of them, but I'm going to give you another thing we've said a couple of times. You know, they're pretty good at the rounds where they've got those ultis to play with.
Yeah.
And this one here, they force those players into taking those very
Also,
aggressive
just
fights with the Snake Bite, the Hunter's
scoreboard.
Furies. Exactly.
It's pretty much always single rounds. They've never been able to double up. Cloud, okay. You're not going to get anything from that. Was hoping to be that a little bit more aggressive. Look at the push on the other side, though. All the way down B. They can start rotating a player back. The turret will give them the information, but if they have a multitude of players waiting there, it might be a bit more of a problem.
They have droned A. I mean, at that point, yeah, you're going to get the counter drone out of DFM, sees the space, make sure there's no player up close, and they get at least close to the back of side. Ulti to play with here, Suggest going to be popping his null command, and if Takage can just find this orb, we could have a Viper's Pit from the attack side to get them on site. Could be a great round set up for them, and you know, up against the pistols as well. There's a chance they decide not to even use it if they do get it online. If anything, I'd say a probability.
But that's the thing. It's like you almost need to have those for the future rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't been winning a lot of these rounds without those ultimates in play. The thing is, the longer this goes on, the scarier it gets. There's still the Sage Wall down on the right side of the side that they have to break through. Rhyme also within, and now they're coming in on that flank as well. It looks to get that little bit more awkward.
He's doing it.
Hunter's Fury through, but it's not going to deny anything. But the flank has been able to find one. A kill on another. Cloud's caught one more. This is starting to become very dangerous.
Cloud waiting that whole time. He knew that null command could be coming through. This could force DFM, at least it's already wrecking a lot of their rifles. And the time is the real constraint here, but if Vitinho gets the timing, it's a missed shot. That's all it comes down to. It could have been close to going home, but now Cloud surely not in the 1v2. Time limited so heavily. He's going to give it his best shot, but that's all it comes down to. 12-7. DFM alive for a little bit longer, and they've managed to get out of that round with the Viper's Pit still in their back pocket.
It's never easy, though. That's the thing.
5 pistols.
None of these rounds ever seem to be easy for them. All that came down to for Giants was time delay. They kept using the slows. I think you have to give credit for Nuke just sectioning out his utility, Sage walling right towards the end, so they have to all go through the same angle. Then, because of that, you have the Hunter's Fury that's able to just basically connect onto the player planting, and some crazy shots connected from Cloud as well. It hasn't done anything to the economy of their opponents, at least. They're not going to have any vulnerabilities or weaknesses, but it has to shake their confidence.
Knowing that you need 5 in a row as well, it really is where you're looking for those clean rounds. You're not looking for these hiccups, bumps in the road up against pistols that almost punish. That said, it was a very smart play from Cloud. He waited in their spawn the whole round. He knew he wanted that Hunter's Fury to deny once he saw 40 seconds on the clock when they're pushing. Okay, maybe we can deny the plant. Maybe we can just get a couple kills. Maybe we can buy space for the flank. You never know. And it was Anthem that went down. That did take their turret out of play.
Oh, what?
No.
Rhyme! He goes through. They've been delaying in every single round. Instead, they fully rotated. They gambled. They threw their players into this A site. The small amount of success, but there's a kill back. A 2v3, a possibility.
There it is.
And a Viper's Pit now thrown through to grant them access to the site.
You know, that should be it now. So hard to fight back in, and Cloud's already used up his drone, so clearing out this pit is so difficult, but they've got the numbers, and we've seen wild sprays land massive value before. Cloud, patient as can be. There's the spray. It's coming damn close. But for now, Suggest survives. The last man standing. The pit's down. The spray. It's wild. It's out of control. And so are Giants. They have done it. 13-7, 2-0. And they have won their opening matchup. Moving on in this tournament. Rhyme is an IGL. He has impressed me beyond belief. The patience of this squad. Almost untested in this series.
Yeah, almost completely new roster. Vitinho, the only man still